Hi Diglit students. Today we are going to do a low poly illustration for our first Illustrator project. The objective of this project is to create a captivating low poly illustration using a high resolution image. Engage in this project to explore the potential of geometric shapes in image representation and to enhance your composition and Adobe Illustrator tools. So what I mean by low poly, we are talking about triangles. I want to make sure that you choose a high quality, colorful, engaging image for this project. Extra credit is awarded for original imagery. Composition must be good. In your illustration, make sure you fill all areas of the artboard with your image and your background image. With your background image, the fill is totally up to you. However, it should elevate your foreground image and not overshadow it. Tools that we are going to be using for this project, this is really the main reason for this project. The pen tool, which is P on your keyboard. You'll use this to set anchor points to create triangles. You'll also use the eyedropper tool, which is I on your keyboard. You'll use the modifier tool or the modifier key Command or Control on a PC. You'll also use the modifier key Option or Alt on your PC. And the Live Paint Bucket tool, which is K. Your output's going to be 19 by 13 or 13 by 19 depending on the orientation of your image. Resolution will be high printable resolution of 300 dpi in a vector format. You're going to output a PDF, a JPEG, and maintain your original Illustrator file. Okay, let's get started. What I did is I went and did a search for something that I was interested in, like the cicada here. It's very symmetrical, so I'm going to have a symmetrical composition, and so I'm going to work with that. I went in to this, right-clicked, saved image as, and saved it to my desktop. Then I am going here into Illustrator, create new file, and I just went over to preset details and put in 19 inches, made sure this had inches on it, 13. Right now it has a landscape orientation. I'm going to make sure it has a portrait orientation and make sure these numbers fit correctly. They do. Color mode, you can do CMYK since this is print, but since we're not honestly going to print this, we'll just keep it RGB, but we do want to have it a high output of 300 ppi. And that looks good, so we're going to say create. Then we'll make sure that my workplace space is reset to essentials, so I know where everything is. And then I'm going to find that image that I downloaded to my desktop. That is right here. And I'm just going to drag that over and drop it. And it's going to create a linked file. And we can tell that because there was an X over it. So it's not going to embed it. So what I'm going to do before I embed it, I'm going to hold down my Shift key. And I'm just going to fill the screen up, or my artboard up, with this image. Kind of put it in the middle there, and I can move this around once I create it, but for right now I'm going to put it where I want it. I'm going to embed it, and that's going to get rid of that X, meaning that this image is now contained in this Illustrator file. I'll go to my layers because they're the most important thing, just like in Photoshop, and I'm going to put them somewhere where I can view the layers. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock, I'm going to lock this layer so I can't move it around on accident. Create a new layer on top here. So this is going to be my photo. And this right here is going to be my working layer. All right, Okay, once you have your image, do Command 0 to put it in the middle and have our layers open. So I'm going to hit P for the pen tool, and then I'm going to hold down my space bar, and you're going to get the little hand, and then with my space bar held down, I'm going to hold down the Command or the Control key, and I'm going to zoom in close. I'm going to let up on the Command Control key. And then I'm going to move this over just so that I can see the area clearer. Don't work from way far back. Work closer. Now I'm going to take my pen tool and start clicking my triangles. So when you do this, you want to try to like imagine little sections of color. And as soon as you click like 2 or 3 times, it's going to fill with the color. Go ahead and close it. You're going to need to get really good over here at clicking on your foreground color and hitting either this little slash right there or the backslash, which is underneath your question mark on your keyboard, to clear the fill. And then I'm going to do the eyedropper method first. I'm going to hit I for eyedropper. I'm going to pick up kind of a average color. So I'm not going to go too dark. I'm not going to go too light. I'm going to pick up some of this medium color there and fill it in. And then I'm going to hit P for pen, go back to my pen tool. And then when I start my new triangle, I'm not going to start here because if I did, it would get rid of that. So Command Z to undo. So my new triangle, I am going to start here and work my way in and I'm going to clear it. And I'm not going to fill this. And really what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on my outline and it will give me a hot pink outline. And so now I'm just going to kind of keep a faster workflow, I'm going to just do outlined and I'll have like I'll have some overlap and then you'll have some that you won't get, and that's okay. We can kind of deal with that later, but we want triangles on all of these. So you have to just kind of squint and find how to place everything in a triangle. And then you can make sure, see the little O, that means I can close it. So you want to be very intent with these. Okay. So now that I've got all of this over here, there, I want to open up this layer so you can see all the different paths that I'm working on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my eyedropper, or click I on your keyboard, and I am going to make a selection. And within that selection, I'm going to find the average color, grab it. Now I'm going to hold down my Command key and click on another. And this has got kind of a light, so I'm going to keep it light. I didn't click the right one, so I'm going to do Command Z. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter so it shows that highlight. I'm going to hold down the Command key and click the next one. And if I have a hard time clicking, I will just go step by step down this right here and pick that average color. And if I have two colors that are kind of same, I'll go back in and redo it so there is just a slight shift in color. I don't want two triangles with the same color on it. Just keep going. Redo it if you need to. All right, then I'm going to hold down my Command key so it gives me my selection tool. I'm going to click off of it, hit P for pen, and start up a new area. If you have these little smart guides that keep popping up that are driving you crazy, you may want to go in, try to remember where they are, turn those off. So that's Command U to turn off your smart guides. And now when you hover over stuff, you won't have them. If I'm not happy with my triangles, I can go in and hit A for the direct selection tool and move things around until I'm happy with them. and then go back to P for pen. All right. Now that I've got general selection here, I'm going to show you how to use the live paint bucket, which is K. So before we can use the live paint bucket, if I hover over this, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to convert this to a live paint object. So what I'll do is I can come in and kind of make a selection of everything. You can see all of these are selected. The ones that are colored in are not. So I can make a selection here and then hit K with this selected, and it automatically will create this into a live paint object. And I'll show you once I start filling in. So to pick up a color, I'm going to hold down the Option key while in live paint is going to pull in a color, and then I can just drop that color down. And as soon as I do that, if you look over here, you can see that now I have a live paint object. I'm going to do Command Z because I didn't like that color. Hold down my Option or Alt key and fill it in. There we go. And now I can just... All right. After I fill in with my live paint, what I'm going to want to do is convert this back to objects or paths like you see here. You can see right here is my live paint object. To do this, I'm going to select the live paint object. I'm just going to click on it here. It's a very easy way to select it. And then I'm going to go to Properties and I'm going to click Expand. That expand is going to take that group and put it into two groups. One's going to be the outline group, and then one's going to be the fill group. Well, since I don't want this outlined in pink, I'm just going to simply click on the outline group and delete it. And now we have our colors here. And you can see if I turn off the original photo that we have white spaces underneath. When we get done doing all of these triangles, that's when we're going to come back underneath. And I can just give you a quick demo here. Add another layer. We're going to call this an underpainting. So we're going to create like an underpainting here to fill in or to catch all those areas that may not be pushed up right next to each other. So I'm just going to go in with my pen tool, and just for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to outline. You'd want to outline the whole thing there. And then since the dark color was already selected, you can see where it fills in those colors and you don't see that white gap. And then I'm just going to keep working on this until I am done. And then once I am done with the foreground, I'm going to address the background, which should not take as much time. This is a time-intensive project. This is not something you're going to sit down and do in one night. If you zoom out, you can see how little we got done there. So this is a several hour project, but you just put your music on, like do 30 minutes, an hour at a time every single day, and then by next week you should have the full image. It's going to look fantastic. Make sure that you pick the right colors and be sure to turn in your progress update.